So let's start with discuss the some interview questions on Appium. So first of all, what is Appium? So that is a basic question, like what is Appium? Appium is an open source test automation tool. Okay, used for testing the mobile application, including the native, hybrid, and web application. Okay, on Android and iOS and Windows platform. And second question is like what programming languages are supported by Appium? Appium supports multiple programming languages like such as Java, Python, and Ruby. Okay, JavaScript, C Sharp, PHP, etc. What type of a mobile application can be tested with Appium? Can you tell me? So this question is mostly asked in interview. Okay, what types of mobile applications can be tested in with Appium? Native apps like we can test with Appium, like native apps, hybrid apps, and mobile web application apps. So native apps like built using platforms SDK, and the second hybrid apps like web applications wrapped in a soft native container. So fourth is like access through the browser on a mobile device. What are the limitation of Appium? This is also most asked into question. So what are the limitation? So अभी तो हमने देखा कि what type of mobile apps can be tested with Appium, like native app, hybrid app, mobile web app. This type of application we can test with Appium. Okay. So what are the limitation of Appium? So first is does not support running test directly on the older and Android version. Okay, less than 4.2. Limited support for gestures compared to the device specific testing frameworks. That is execution speed can be slower compared to tools like Espresso or Xcut test. Okay, execution speed can be slower compared to tools like Espresso or Xcut test. Okay, so how does Appium interact with the mobile devices? How does the Appium interact with the mobile devices? Appium uses the WebDriver protocol to communicate with devices. It bridges the test script to mobile specific commands using platform specific drivers like UI Automator to Android or XQ test iOS. Okay, so Appium interact with mobile devices like Appium uses the WebDriver protocol to communicate with the uh, devices, like it bridges the test script to mobile specific commands using the platform specific drivers like UI Automata 2 for Android and XQ test for iOS. Intermediate Appium inter questions like we can discuss right now. So sixth question is what is desired capability in Appium? So desired capabilities are keys values pairs sent to the Appium server to define the session. They include the platform name, okay, Android or iOS, platform version of the iOS OS, device name of the device or emulator, app path of the app file .apk or .ipa, automation name, framework to use, UI Automator to or execute test. Okay, what is the Appium architecture? Appium consists of client, server, and drivers. The test script written using the WebDriver client libraries. Second is server. Appium server acts as a middle layer to handle request and send the responses. Drivers like handle the platform specific commands. For example, UI Automator to execute test. Okay, What is the difference between the UI Automator and UI Automator 2? UI Automator, like what do you say? UI Automator, older framework for Android, and support the Android versions up to 4.2. UI Automator 2, like enhanced version, faster execution, and support the newer Android version 4.2 plus. How do we inspect the mobile elements in Appium? We inspect mobile elements in Appium, like Appium Inspector, a GUI tool to view the and interact with the mobile elements. UI Automator Viewer, okay, for inspecting Android elements. Accessibility Inspector for iOS apps in Xcode. So these tools we can use for inspect the mobile elements in Appium. So 10th question is uh, what are the differences between the emulator and real device testing in Appium? So what are the differences between the emulator and real device testing in Appium? So basically हम क्या करते हैं, रियल डिवाइस भी टेस्टिंग करते हो, और सम कंपनीज में रियल डिवाइस नहीं हो, समटाइम हम क्या करते हैं, एमुलेटर भी यूज करते हैं. तो सो फीचर एमुलेटर and real device. So we can discuss the difference between the emulator and real devices. So speed, suppose parameter speed is there. So emulator, that is a slower speed, and whereas in real device there is a faster speed. Okay, and accuracy, that is a simulated, less reliable, whereas real device true user environment. Third is debugging, easier in emulator but can be challenging in real devices, debugging. Okay, accuracy क्या है कि simulate less reliable, and real device में क्या होती है, true user environment. Okay. Fourth is cost. Emulator is free on we can attach the driver, Chrome driver extension. Okay, emulator. And real device में क्या होती है कि requirement क्या होती है, purchasing devices. So real cost is real device में ज़्यादा होती है. Okay. So 11th question, which is like advanced Appium interview question. How do you handle the gestures like swipe, tap, or drag and drop in Appium? Use the touch action Appium in Appium. Use the touch action API in Appium. Java, like how do you integrate the Appium with the, so this is the core syntax. We can handle the gesture like swipe, tap, or drag and drop in Appium. Okay, so we can create the touch action. We can use the touch action API in Appium. So we can just create the how to say, create the object of top action equal to new top action, and action we can use the methods of action, dot press, action dot wait, action dot move to, action dot release, action dot perform. So next question is, how do you integrate the Appium with CI/CD tool like Jenkins? So total 15 questions are there. Okay, so 12 question, how do you integrate Appium with the CI/CD tool like Jenkins? Step 1, install the Jenkins and configure the job. Install the Jenkins and configure the job. Add Appium with and dependencies for Node.js, Java, Android SDK to the Jenkins environment. Include the Appium test script, can be Jenkins build step. Execute test cases using the command line runner or Maven, like Maven or Gradle. First is install the Jenkins with configure the job, add Appium and dependencies. Include the Appium test script in the Jenkins and build step. Execute the test cases using the command line runner like Maven or Gradle. Execute the test cases using a command line runner like Maven or Gradle. 13. How do you handle the parallel execution of the Appium test? How do you handle the parallel execution of the Appium test? Use TestNG or similar frameworks to run the test in parallelly. How do you handle the parallel execution of the Appium test? How do you handle the parallel execution of Appium test? Like using TestNG or similar frameworks to run the test in parallel. So we can handle parallel execution of the Appium test. Assign unique UDID and port values for each device in the desired capabilities. What are the some exceptions in Appium? What are some exceptions in Appium and how do you handle them? So how do parallel execution हम क्या कर सकते हैं? Use TestNG or similar framework to run the test in parallel. Assign unique UDID and port values for each device in the desired capabilities. Okay, we can assign the unique UDID and port values for each device in the desired capabilities. What are the some exceptions in Appium and how do you handle them? So while using the Appium, we get the some exception like no such element exception, element not found. Okay, use the explicit wait like WebDriver wait solution on that. No such element exception when occurring, so element is not found, then we get this exception and for resolve this exception we use the explicitly wait like WebDriver wait. Okay, session not created exception. It is occurring when failure to create the session. Okay, to resolve this exception we can check the desired capabilities and Appium server connection. Element not intractable exception. Element is present but not intractable. Solution क्या है कि इसमें ensure the element is in the visible viewport or not. Check the desired capabilities and Appium server connection. 15 is how do you perform the API testing for mobile application alongside Appium? How do you perform API testing for mobile apps alongside Appium? Use Postman or frameworks like REST Assured to test the APIs. Validate the test data between API responses and the API and the app UI testing Appium. Use a Postman or frameworks like REST Assured to test the APIs. Validate the data between the API responses and the app UI using the Appium. Validate the data between the API responses and the app UI using Appium. Use Postman or framework like REST Assured to test the APIs. So we can perform the API testing for mobile apps alongside Appium. So practical Appium example. Automate the login screen. Practical Appium example you can see here. Scenarios automate a login screen. Desired capabilities equal to desired capabilities caps equal to new desired capabilities. Caps dot set capability. Okay, caps dot set capability. Caps dot set capability. Platform Android device name Pixel 3 apps. Okay, part to the app.apk. Caps dot set capability. Platform Android. Caps dot set capability. Device name Pixel 3. Caps dot set capability like apps like part to app.apk. Initialize the Appium driver. Like Android driver equal to mobile element, we can pass in bracket, and driver equal to new Android driver equal to in bracket like new URL http localhost app, and automate the login. Okay, like driver.find element by id by driver.find element by password, driver.find element by id like login button, and click. So we can automate the login screen with this desired capability. You can use platform name, device name, and we can set the capability like app or like path to the APK. So this is the basic questions on Appium. So we can, so let's see you next video. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe my channel to watching the more videos on the software testing. So stay positive, stay curious, and take care. Bye bye.